This program was funded in part by a Ready to Learn, No Child Left Behind grant from the U.S. Department of Education through the Public Broadcasting Service, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Alright, hello everybody, welcome to today's special video. So today is June 14th, which we have apparently a lot of things to celebrate here in this country. And a lot of things to not celebrate today in this country. But today is, like how I mentioned, is June 14th. Today is the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army, created all the way back in 1775. So that's cool. It is also Flag Day, which is just a seamlessly little holiday to celebrate the U.S. flag and I guess all of our state, territorial, and federal district flags, which is kind of on par of what we're going to be doing today. And on the not so great side, today is Donald Trump's birthday. So, yeah. But as far as I know, there's a lot of protests going on today, as far as I know of. And apparently there's a military parade going on too, but yeah, we don't care about all of that. I mean, for the military, sure, whatever, but for Trump to do it on his birthday, that's a whole nother story. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and kick things off. Today, we're gonna be ranking every single state flag, every single territorial flag, and the flag of the federal district, and we will put it in a tier list from S to F, but I kind of copied this method off of CGP Grey, that there's going to be a tier list within a tier list, S to F through the F tier, and then this spot here is, well, it's the flag that we're going to be talking about. We will be doing these in alphabetical order. We're starting with the state flags, and then we'll go to the territory flags, and then the federal district. So basically the order that you see right here on your screen is going to be the order that we will be doing this. And ignore all the commotion going on downstairs. Just FYI. So, first off, we have our first state, Alabama. Now, as far as I know of, it is based on the St. Andrew's Cross, but it's crimson color because, well, crimson is the main color for Alabama. It's a simple flag. It's something a kid can easily draw. It's easily recognizable. For that, we're gonna put it in a solid A tier. A for Alabama. Up next, Alaska. Now, Alaska is, the most northern state we probably have. It's on the continent itself of, North America. But, it's not connected to, the rest of the, the main country, as we all know. It's separated by Canada. And it's a really solid flag, I would have to say. So I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in B tier because I mean it's good, but when it comes to the number of stars that it has and the main color of the main background, it's pretty difficult to differentiate from a distance in like cold, dark winters. It's not bad, but it's also, I mean, it could be a little bit better, but it's pretty good for, it's damn near good than like half of them. Next up we have Arizona. It's pretty simple. The reason that they created this flag, that, Arizona created a state flag is that way they can fly one on the US says Arizona, and there wasn't one. So some captain created it himself. It's got 13 red and gold stripes that represent the 13 colonies, and the color is based on the Spanish conquistadors because it's once part of New Spain. Blue for the rivers that are in the state, and then the copper star because there's a lot of copper in the state. So we're gonna throw this into a solid A tier. Up next, Arkansas. Now, Arkansas, as you can see, it has its name on the flag, which is kind of bad, but it's simplistic than a lot of other states that has their name on the flag, and has a lot of diamonds and stars. The diamonds represents that it was it had the biggest diamond mine, or just produced a lot of diamonds in the country at the time. I don't know if it still does, but that's what the historical thing was. Now since it does have its name on there, we're gonna put it in C. I mean, it's good, but it could definitely be a little bit better, but Arkansas, you wrote your name on there, but I'll let it pass for now. Up next, California. Now, we all know California, surprisingly, California was part of, it was its own country for a while, but it only lasted for 3 weeks, which is why it has California Republic on there. Because, it was the California Republic. Now, it's pretty recognizable. If you look at it, even without the word California on there, you would know that was California, but I don't know. With the fact that it has a republic that only lasted for 3 weeks, I'm going to put it in FA. I mean, it could be a lot better, honestly. Up next, Colorado. It has no wording, but it has an obvious C in it. I just think that this flag could be a bit better. It's just a C, really. It just, I don't know. I'm gonna give it FA, because I mean, Colorado, you could really do something with like the Rocky Mountains and like use that to your advantage or something. Like, seriously. Now we come up to the more difficult and annoying theme across about half of all the state flags. Some form of a seal on top of a basic background. And oh boy, as you can see down here, there are a lot of them. Connecticut is, as far as I know, is part of the seal, but it's not the full seal. But also it has the color purple, which is unique amongst the states. So, I mean, Connecticut, you really should redesign your flag. I don't know if there's anything coming up pretty soon about wanting to redesign it, but I mean, you could definitely do something with the color purple and make it unique amongst you. I don't know, FB, I don't even care. Change your flag. Up next, Delaware. Now, Delaware is known as the first state because it became a state on, as it says in the flag, December 7th of 1787. Yeah, it was the first state to approve of the Constitution, and that's how it became the first state. But I mean, having the seal on the flag that's that's a whole nother thing. You can make it a little bit better, honestly. There's gotta be a better way to showcase that you're the first state. FB. I don't even care. Florida. Now, the thing with Florida is that they more than likely copied it off of Alabama. But they made it worse by adding their state seal, which I guess makes it different from Alabama. Now, one thing I do have to mention about Alabama is that their flag is based on a Confederate flag. Florida's is based off of the Spanish because it was once under Spanish rule for a while. I'm gonna say FA because, well, honestly, it's a good design that they copied, but they made it a bit worse when they added their state seal. And yes, guys, there's gonna be a little bit of a pattern that is gonna be going on with all these flags, just so you know. Up next, Georgia, going up north of Florida. Now, Georgia is based off of the the first Confederate flag, but they did it in a way that kind of makes it look kind of cool. Because it once was part of the Confederacy, but was also one of the first original 13 states. So the 13 stars here, in the blue here, kind of coincides with the Confederacy and for being one of the first 13 states of the country. So it kind of depicts two of them in its state's history. And even though it has words, you can't really see it, but there's words right up in here too. But, I mean, Georgia, you may have words on there, but you didn't write your name, so D tier. Arkansas just kind of barely passes. Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is unique in the fact that it is the only flag of the Union to have the Union Jack, which is the British flag. Even though the island was never part of the British Empire. Hawaii was its own country for a long time. It was a kingdom, and then it became a republic, and then we annexed it, and it became in U.S. hands pretty much ever since. When looking at most of the flags of the states, Hawaii is always seen as the rainbow of the flags. And for that, a lot of respect. C tier. Oh boy. Idaho. Oh god. Oh, let's see here. State seal with the name down at the bottom of the scroll on a basic blue. FD. I don't even care. Change your flag. Illinois. It's not a basic blue, but it is on a white. It's the state seal with the name written at the bottom. Now, there was going to be some form of a change that was supposed to happen. And apparently, the vast majority of people preferred to keep the current flag instead of changing it. I will throw up on screen what some of my favorites of the redesigns are right now on screen. But I would prefer any of those other ones that isn't the current one. And just for that, for having the chance to change your flag, but go back to keeping the current flag, that's an automatic FF. You disappoint me, Illinois. I'm sorry. Up next, Indiana. We're going east of Illinois and west from my home state. like in between Illinois, my home state, is Indiana. Yeah, I live in Ohio, but we'll get to Ohio in a little bit. But anyways, Indiana, it's pretty much got the same almost design as Alaska, but with more stars, a little more recognizable, with the Torch of Liberty. You have your name real faint towards the top, but it actually kind of works. C tier. Iowa is up next. The thing with Iowa is that it does have the eagle and the scroll, just like its state seal. But, just like Connecticut, it is not the entire seal. It's also in a French tricolor because it was part of French Louisiana. And yeah, I actually like it. It gives homage of its French past. I mean, it has its name, but it's pretty good. D tier. You pass. Congratulations. Kansas. Oh, Kansas. You have your state seal in the middle. You have your name written on the very bottom. And to make it even pass, you have a sunflower on the very top. Why? Probably because of the Wizard of Oz. I don't know. Probably. Honestly, I don't even care. FD. You failed. Sorry. Kentucky. The land of Lincoln. So, I think that Kentucky is I don't know, you have Lincoln on there. There's definitely a way for it to be a bit better, so I'm gonna say FB. Up next is Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is quite unique to the States, as it is the only flag to show blood. It's interesting, but it's still the state emblem on a basic blue background. For being somewhat decently unique, I don't know, FA. Up next, Maine. Oh god, Maine, where do I even begin with you? Like, seriously. You literally had the chance last year in the election to change your flag to, you know, a more updated, redesigned version of your previous flag. You had the chance to do that, to revert back a little bit, but a little bit more updated. But almost 56% of your population prefers to keep your current flag. And just like Illinois, that is a automatic FF. You failed. The redesign, which was the previous flag, was so much better than your current one. Alright, next up, Maryland. Maryland is unique. Basically what the design. It looks like something that comes out of Europe than from, America. Fun fact, if Maryland were to technically secede from the US during the Civil War, this part here and here more than likely probably would have been its Confederate state flag. But they stayed with the Union. They were one of the original 13 colonies, and the design's pretty cool. Just for being pretty cool and unique, you're getting an automatic S tier. Congratulations, you definitely succeeded. Up next, Massachusetts. Again, seal on a basic background. In this case, it's white instead of blue. Uh, there's so much history in this state, though. You know, Plymouth Rock, the Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, the start of the Revolution, you know, Lexington and Concord, home of like 3 or 4 US presidents. It's a history state. But you could do so much better with that. FC, I don't even care. Now we go north to where I live, Michigan. Now, I am annoyed when I see this flag every time I go up to Michigan. Because, I mean, I get it that there's a lot of wildlife in Michigan. But you could do so much better than the state seal on a basic blue background. So, yeah, I'm just gonna give you a FD just cause, whatever. Minnesota. Yes, Minnesota changed their flag and officially went into effect May of last year, 2024. And it's the most recent flag to get a permanent change. I like the new design because it has the star here, this shape here, which is almost like the shape of Minnesota, and the baby blue here, which represents its lakes, because Minnesota is known as the state with 10,000 lakes. I like the new flag quite a lot. A, you get an A tier. Congratulations. Up next, in another state that recently got a new flag, Mississippi. They changed their flag about 4 years ago, back in 2021, and it looks a lot better than than their last one. I mean, the last one obviously had the Confederate flag on there, but they changed it because, I mean, you know, they announced that they were going to change it in 2020, and they did. It looks a hell of a lot better, I have to say. Even though you do have words on there, but the wording actually kind of works. D tier. Because they hit it pretty good in a design that actually works. So congratulations. Missouri. Missouri is kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's got a basic tricolor. Instead of vertical, it's horizontal to represent its French past. It's got the state seal on it, and has 24 stars that represent it's the 24th state. Not once, but twice in the state seal and right, you know, around it. But also, you can't really see it, but inside the state seal is the federal state seal, is the federal seal. You know, the eagle and all of that. And yeah, Missouri kind of has the title of having the most stars on any flag for the states, with a total of 61. But it is unique, and there are no wording. Well, there is wording, but you didn't write your name, so C tier. Montana. Oh god, here we go again. Another basic ass blue banner with its state seal with the occasional writing of its name. FD. I don't even care. But yeah, like how I said, I hate almost half of all the states, which is why if I did this as a basic tier list, S through F, the F tier would be full, so it's best that I just split the F tier up a little bit. Nebraska. Again, same concept, state seal on a basic blue background. The name is in the seal, FD. Nevada is up next. And, well, I can definitely say that the flag of Nevada is actually pretty decent, I guess. I mean, it's still the state's emblem, not in the center, but in the upper corner, which is a little unique. But it's still a seal with a or an emblem of some sort on top of a basic background. But since it's somewhat decent and unique, FA. You failed, but you passed while failing. I don't know if that made sense, but you know, whatever, I guess. Alright, next up we have New Hampshire. Oh boy. New Hampshire. You have a lot going on in your state seal, but either way, it's the same thing as it is before. State seal on top of a basic blue background. But since the ship's pretty good, FC. Oh, we haven't filled FS yet, but there's definitely going to be a few that are going to be on there. Next, New Jersey. New Jersey is a state seal on a basic background. In this case, it's this weird orange tannish looking color. But hey, it's not blue, and it definitely stands out. FA. New Mexico. Now, I've been in New Mexico once in my life, and I actually enjoyed seeing the flag of New Mexico flying in the air. I actually like it. It also represents the Native Americans, and the color scheme is based on either the landscape, the Spanish, settlers, or just of the natives in the area. For that, for having a really cool design, S tier. New York. Oh boy. Okay, here's the thing, New York. Again, seal on a basic blue background. But I will say that your seal is definitely better than most. So, I mean, there's definitely better ways that you could do something with that. There's a lot of history in New York. So I'm gonna give it an FB, because I'm pretty sure there's definitely something that you can do that's a lot better. North Carolina. North Carolina is pretty cool, although it's based on another flag that we will eventually get to. You were once part of the Confederacy, and you were one of the original 13 colonies. You wrote some words in a little lettering, but you didn't write your name. So for that, C tier. Congratulations. North Dakota. All it is basically the federal seal on a basic blue background with their name scrawled at the very bottom. You could do something a little bit better with this. FD. Now for my home state. Ohio. Ohio is unique not only to the states, but for any form of a political entity. It's the only swallowtail pennant in the entire union. It's cool, it's unique, and being biased to my own home state, you get an S tier. Oklahoma. Now, what you're thinking, that's probably a state seal, ain't it? No, it is not. It is not. It represents the Plains Indians and Europeans that are coming in to settle the area. It's pretty cool, and it's definitely very Native American that a lot of state flags do not even attempt to recognize or acknowledge. Even though you did write your name, I'm gonna put you in S tier, but in the F category. If you removed your name, you would probably be a solid B, if I'm being brutally honest. But it's a start. Oregon. Now, Oregon has two versions of its flag, the obverse and the reverse. This is the obverse. The reverse is just a basic blue background with a gold beaver. If we had that on here, I would definitely put it up probably around D tier. But since it's just the front of the flag with its name and its steel and the year it became a state, FC, I don't even care. Pennsylvania. Oh boy, that's pretty much their state seal on a basic blue background, but they didn't write their name. But there's also a lot happening here. It's got also a very English classical style to it. So with that kind of a cool factor, you failed, but you're probably the best of the failures. So FS, congratulations. Again, it's also a lot of history going on in Pennsylvania too, because you know that's where we declared independence from. You know, it was the capital of the country for a while before DC, and you know all that. Up next, Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a square. It's white, a lot of blue and yellow on it. Didn't write their name, but they wrote Hope. And it's easily recognizable with the anchor and the colors. So we're gonna put it up here in B tier. South Carolina. The first state to secede from the Union, which eventually led to the Civil War. Now, South Carolina, everyone thinks that this is a palm tree, but it's not. It's a palmetto tree, which is, as far as I know, it's the state tree of South Carolina. The tree was added after the Civil War, but the moon has been a South Carolinian symbol since around the time of the Revolution. Well, two basic colors, blue and white, but you didn't write your name. B tier. South Dakota. Oh god, there's a lot going on here. You have the state seal inside of some circled sun rigged design. And then you wrote your name again here, along with the nickname of their, of your state. If you would have had just Mount Rushmore somewhere on the flag, it would probably work. For that, I don't know. I'm gonna put you on tier with your sister. But since you also wrote your name twice, yeah, sorry, you failed. You're probably the worst flag in the entire Union, if I'm being brutally honest, for writing your name twice. Once in the seal, and another, around the seal, which is completely pointless. Oh man. We're almost done with the states, guys. We got 9 more to go over. Up next, Tennessee. Everyone always hates Tennessee's flag because of the random blue that's already out on the end, but I actually kind of like it. On the screen it's like a B tier, but in the air, it's solid. It's pretty good. A tier. It has 3 stars that represents the 3 different parts of the state. Unified. Alright, up next. Texas. Everyone knows this flag. Everyone knows Texas was its own country for a whole decade. So, yeah, we already know this is a good flag. It's real good. S tier. you still use it and your people love it like you're still the Republic of Texas. Up next, Utah. Now Utah is also a state that recently changed their flag. It officially went into effect last year in March. Because, you know, its old flag was pretty bad. This one actually works out because you have... It just looks so much better. For that A tier. And unfortunately, that's the last flag that has a redesign here within the last couple years. Alright, Vermont. Oh god, here we go again. Basic state flag with, you know, state seal in the middle on top of a basic blue background. I mean, the seal at least looks decently good. Can definitely do a lot better with that. FC. Virginia is up next, another history state. Again, it's a state seal on top of a basic blue background with your name in the seal itself. There's so much history in Virginia. I mean, it's disputably the home of the presidents, because, you know, a lot of presidents came out of Virginia, but also a lot of presidents came out of Ohio, so it's debated on which state actually had the most presidents. Anyways, I don't know, you could do so much better with this, honestly. FS. You failed, but you're definitely better than most. Washington. Now, I understand why you would have the face of George Washington on it, because the state is named after him. But we even have another area that's named after him that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But you put him on your state seal on top of a basic background. In this case, it's green. But it's not blue and it's not white. And since Washington is my favorite president, I'm gonna pull something that's very, very weird. FS. You fail because it's a state seal on top of a basic background, but you pass in a way that you showcase my favorite president. If that made sense. You pass, but you fail. Bottom line. Alright. Almost done with the states. West Virginia. Hardy Appalachia. Come on, you guys can do a lot better than this. This is basically your state seal on top of a basic background, which is also on top of a basic background. State seal on white on top of blue. That's a double, no, that's a triple whammy fail. FF. Wisconsin. Again, state seal, basic blue background, had your name on top, and the year became a state at the bottom. You are the cheese state. You could literally put a whole, like, block of cheese on your flag, and I would have been like, great, perfect, that perfectly recognizes you. Like, hey, cheese, Wisconsin. But, come on. Put a damn thing of cheese on there. FB. And last of the states, Wyoming. I like it, but the main problem is that it has a state seal stamped in the middle on the bison. And for that, you failed, but at least get rid of the seal. If you get rid of the seal, they'll at least put you around B or C. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so now that we got all the states, you know, this is where we're at in terms of the states. So now we're gonna go over the territories. There are 5 main territories, and we're going to be covering them, going over them one by one in alphabetical order. First up, American Samoa. Now here's the thing about American Samoa. It is a unincorporated and unorganized territory of the U.S. Here's the thing. They don't have full representation in Congress, but they have a delegate that represents them in Congress, but they can debate on the floor, but they can't vote on anything. And it's the same thing with all the territories and the federal district. But either way, a lot of people that are really upset about that. Now the thing is that the people of this territory are considered nationals. They're not technically citizens because they're not. Because unincorporated means that they have no local government. It's complicated on how it works. I did a whole video about American Samoa, so you can check it out if you want. I'll link it in the description below in the video. But in terms of their flag, it looks kind of cool. I mean, it's got the American eagle with a spear and a whip kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it or whatever. But I think it's a solid flag. I'm gonna give it a D tier. Up next is Guam. Guam. And we're kind of back to the same thing again. It's the seal on top of a basic blue with red on the outside edges. Now, Guam is considered as a unincorporated and organized territory of the U.S. Organized means that the Constitution fully applies. And the people of this territory are considered American citizens, but they can't vote in presidential elections unless they go through the immigration process. They can't vote for president, but they can elect a delegate to Congress in Washington. I don't know. I'm gonna put it at FB or FA. I don't even care. It's a seal on top of a background. And the next one is just the same. The Northern Mariana Islands. It's officially known as the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And there are a couple states here that are actually considered commonwealths in their official name and not states. There's only 4 of them. Let's see if I can remember which one they are. We have Massachusetts, we have Kentucky, we have Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Those are the Commonwealth states, but they're still states, but they're still Commonwealths. Anyways, Northern Mariana Islands. It's basically part of their seal on top of a basic blue background, but it's not the full seal. But since it's mostly the seal on a basic blue background, I'm gonna put it in FB just cause. Up next, Puerto Rico. Now here's the thing. Puerto Rico is an organized and unincorporated territory of the U.S. If I had to pick which one of the territories that would more than likely be the 51st state, 9 times out of 10, I will point to Puerto Rico here. But the problem is that the vast majority of the country, well, not really country, but the vast majority of the territory speaks Spanish. So there's a lot of things going on if they should stay at their territorial status, become a state, or become their own country. Because we got it from Spain after the Spanish-American War, and it's been our possession ever since. American Samoa we've had since I think we bought it off of Germany, if I recall correctly. Guam we got from Spain during the Spanish-American War. The Northern Mariana Islands we got from Japan in World War II. But Puerto Rico, you don't have your seal, you don't have your name, it's easily recognizable. B tier. Last territory, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Well, I can tell you, it is not the state seal on top of a basic white background. It has the U.S. Eagle, and it has the V and the I for the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's pretty straightforward. It has lettering. It does not have its seal, and does not have its name. I mean, the VI also kind of counts as its name, but it's probably my favorite of the territory flags. S tier. And last but certainly not least, the flag of Washington, D.C. Now, here's the thing. Basically, the flag of Washington, D.C. represents George Washington so much better than the state of Washington does. Because here they just have their face and his name on the flag. Washington, D.C. is just his family's coat of arms. And they've really been trying to get them to be the 51st state, but like how I mentioned before, Puerto Rico is more than likely next to be a state. So, since it doesn't have its name or a state seal, it's safe from the F tiers. So with that being said, we're gonna put it in A tier because it represents Washington so much better. Alright, so there you have it. This is all 56 flags of every single state, territory, and federal district of the United States. So these 5 are definitely my favorite, but if I had to rank these as my all-time favorite, which one would it be? I don't know, I'm biased to my home state. It's gonna be Ohio as the best, but I'm biased because I live here. But in terms of the worst, it's definitely South Dakota. We're having your name twice with your seal on the flag on top of a basic blue background. South Dakota, I'm sorry, but you have the definite worst flag in the entire country. Change it, please. In Illinois, Maine, you disappoint me because you could have changed it to something cool, but you didn't. Alright, so that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to share this video with a friend. And yeah, we will see you in whatever special project I have coming up for you guys. Stay cool, stay tuned. Trevor out.
This program was funded in part by a Ready to Learn, No Child Left Behind grant from the U.S. Department of Education through the Public Broadcasting Service, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.